Hey, well, hello again, everybody. This is Casey with HomeSmart Real Estate Group of Northern Colorado. Hashtag not your typical real estate broker. Well, today I'm just going to go over a simple and straightforward process of how to hang a door. It's a process I learned and I've been using for just about 4 decades. So with that, let's get to it and I'll show you how it's done. So I've already got this door in place, but I'm just going to go through this simple step process from start to finish to show you how easy and simple it is to hang a door this way. Well, you're never going to have to struggle again. And it's always dependent upon how good the framing job is done too. So there's always those nuances that you have to take into consideration. So two of the most critical parts is your wall plumb. And I frame this in so it's plumb, and always depending on if it's plumb or out of plumb. If it's not in plumb, which means up and down, when you hang the door, when it's even with the sheetrock, like this, it's got to follow, the door jamb's got to follow the contour of the sheetrock. So when you have doors and properties that will not stay open or will not stay closed and they just start swinging by themselves, it's a good indication that that wall is not plumb. So this is on the latch side. I had to match the wall that I framed in with the existing wall, so it's a little out of plumb. Sometimes it's either the door might be warped or the walls are a little bit racked, which makes one part of the door, either top or bottom, hit the striker first or the doorstop first, and it twists the door a little bit when you close it. That's one reason why those doors do that. When you're showing properties and you see a door that's either, when you turn the knob it pops open, or when you have to really push it shut and either the top or the bottom of the door hits the doorstop first. So after step one, making sure that the rough opening is big enough and it will accept the door and the door jamb, I'll put my shims right at the top on either side once I have my door set in place in the rough opening. I'm going to close that door for a second. This will hold the entire jamb of the door in place. I don't nail these just yet. That'll come in just a little bit. After that's done, I'll check my reveal around the top and the striker side of the door with the handle. I always want to make sure, I'm going to push that door in a little bit, that that gap is even, that I don't have any kind of discrepancy, and I'll talk about that in just a second. And then this reveal here, where it comes all the way down, I want it nice and even all the way down through the length of the door to the bottom. And that can be adjusted with shims, okay? If you need to adjust in the middle of these parts anywhere, you can do that also. Whether it's got to be pushed out or pushed in, and that'll hold out with a nail. So now that everything looks good and is tight, the shims are in place, you could start nailing, and I always start at the top, here and here. Granted, I'm going to open the door. You want to make sure that that door jamb is flush with the sheetrock on both sides. And sometimes when you have some really bad framing or bad framers or those who don't know how to hang a door, this will either be sticking out or sticking in, and it creates a freaking nightmare when you've got to put the casing on there. And I've had to deal with that a lot in my lifetime on these volume builder type of projects. The brief time I worked on those for 2 years, thank goodness. So once you've got these top two areas nailed and in place, you'll start on the hinge side. You'll get this nailed first. You can get your bottom hinge nailed second. And then shims in place here, just as a snug fit, and then you'll nail that middle shim. At times, also like the reveal on the bottom, this sometimes is a little bit bigger or smaller, and you can either push this in with a nail or an extended screw into the rough opening, into the stud, or with nails will hold it in place, and once you've got your trim in, everything should be secure. One last thing I'll mention, at times the frame or the studs, they're twisted, just inherent of wood and so much more these days with these modern marvel fast genetically engineered fast growth trees. So at times you'll put these shims in where they alternate thick to thin opposite each other, but because this stud was a little twisted, I had to put 2 shims in on the thick side and 1 on the thin side to make sure that this whole section laid flat and wasn't racked or twisted, because that adds a little bit of challenge to when you've got a door as far as trimming it or making it sure that it opens and closes properly. And that's the other side here, and I'll take my little Recipro saw. I'm going to cut these hinges out. Cedar shims are easier, were easy with a knife. These pine shims, I like to use a saw because they're a bit more of a struggle even with a sharp blade. So there you have it. Simple, easy steps to hang a door. It's a method I've used for, like I said, almost 4 decades. It's always treated me well. The only challenges you really have when you hang a door is with how good or how poor the framing is and how plumb the walls are. Those lead separate sets of challenges to make it work, and you're limited in what you can do if your walls are crooked or out of plumb. Anyway, take care. Hopefully you got something out of this video. This is Casey with HomeSmart Real Estate Group of Northern Colorado. # not your typical real estate broker. Have a wonderful day.